My mom told me not to talk to strangers on the internet, but I'm glad I didn't listen. We are the Certified Nunas, your sisters in the love of Asian entertainment.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
I'm Jessie.
I'm Natalia.
I'm Sky.
And we're back from a little mini illness-induced break. That was my fault. My apologies, everyone.
Yeah.
It was, you can blame me.
Sorry.
Your lack of voice.
Yeah, I literally had no voice, and, okay. Y'all knew, and by y'all, I mean y'all on this podcast knew that I have literally no immune system when we started this, which is why I just sit at home all day. But we are back, and we are a week late, but we are coming in hot with a sweet episode about our favorite little brother-sister duet, AKMU. But before we get into it, what has everyone been listening to?
What
haven't
everybody
we
not
been listening to?
I know. The comeback apocalypse happened and is continuing to happen. So
Comebackalypse?
The
Apocalypse. Seriously, it's been a month. Jeez. Okay, well, for starters, Jackson Wang.
Oh,
this
so good.
Is the
So
month that I
good.
fell in love with his voice. Like, I always liked Jackson, the personality, the memes, but yeah, now the voice has caught me. I've never been a huge GOT7 fan, but Jackson this month, we started off, we spent all of last month talking over and over and over again about Bullet to the Heart.
Bullet to the heart.
So good. Who hurt you, boy? Who hurt you?
So he had that come out. He released that single. And then the 88 Rising album, full of collaborations, came out. And he's all over that album. I think there's 5 songs that he's on, something like that. And they're so good. They're such good songs. I'm not into every single song, but there's a lot that are really, really good. And my favorite, though, is I Love You 3000. I like the English version. The Chinese version is on his Mirrors album. But it's such a pretty song. It's just such a sweet, pretty song with it's for sure, if people are actually listening to it, it's going to be the new K-pop wedding song, dance song or something. And seriously, if we don't hear that there's been Norabang proposals from this using this song, because seriously, you rent the Norabang, you go, you put it into the rotation, and when the song's over, drop to your knee, pull it that thing.
That's actually a really good idea.
Golden. It's such a good song. It's so pretty. Also on the 88 Rising, I think it was it Walking with Joji that had that crazy video that we watched?
It was
Yeah. It. Where it was Godzilla versus robot transformer Jackson.
So good.
Oh my god. I think I said that to you. I was like, guys, this just showed up on my YouTube and I've lost my mind.
So good. So yeah, so basically Jackson, and then GOT7 had their album come out, and there's some good stuff on that too. And so just a lot of Jackson. That's what
I was in a Jackson mood. What can you do?
I was looking forward to One Team. One Team. It's One Team, right?
I think so.
Yeah, because I enjoy them. They're good. I really like the song Ice in the Cup. It's just kind of I don't know, it's a little party song. Kind of goes with the Monsta X Party Time. I said it's a song that comes in between Party Time and Love You.
See that?
A line in it where he's like, what's this girl doing on my lap? Oh, never mind, just let her stay there or something. And you're like, okay.
Listen, we've all been there,
So, but it's just kind of a cool, I don't know, a chill party vibe song. And Flying, I really, really like Pardon. Been enjoying that.
It has Tiki Taka in it. I'm all about all the Tiki Taka songs these days.
Oh, Kang Ji-won, I'm assuming that's how you pronounce Xiwon would be Jiwon? Jiwon? Xiwon? I don't know. Anyway, she has a really lovely voice, and there was a song earlier this year that I listened to that I really enjoyed, and so Spotify threw her at me a new one, and it's really, really good. Passionate Love, it's called, and it's really a good song. I really have enjoyed that. I've been listening to a lot of my recent releases stuff a lot this month. Like, it's almost like my brain was like, okay, there's too many comebacks. Like, down and just
like I can only do so much. Like, what do you want?
So much
from
coming
me?
at me.
Pick it for me, Spotify. Do the work.
Well, and then when we didn't record last week, it was like, and then Friday hits, and there's a new release radar, and I'm like, no, you guys, I just stop. I need to I need a break.
No break for you. No break. Only K-pop. No break.
Spotify put Mia on my release radar, so I went to check out a bunch more of her stuff, and I really enjoy her voice. It's really, I think the new one is Insta Lover was the newest one, but I think the album's Not a Fairy Tale or something is what it's called, but really good. She's got a lovely voice, and there's a lot of really good stuff on that album as well. And somebody called Minty, and I meant to look them up to find out more about them, because I think the only thing I could find on Spotify was the one song that's by put on my release radar, but really, really good. So the song's called Arcadia, and the group, band, singer, soloist, I don't know, Minty is the name. It's really good though. I quite enjoyed it. So, and the one that I was looking forward to the most for this month was Tomorrow Together, or Tomorrow TXT, whatever, because I really enjoyed their last album. So I was really looking forward to this one. It has some good, solid songs. I really like the release on this one. Shocker. It's my favorite song on the album, so that's nice. And good. It's fun. The video was really wild and interesting, and as expected, coming out of Big Hit, high concept, interesting videos. What a shocker.
I saw somebody calling that, they said that they were a small company still, and I just laughed about that.
Yeah, okay. Sure, Jan.
They're trying to say Astro and TXT are the only boy groups from small companies, yada yada yada, this year, something. And I was just, I was fixated on that small company.
You sure about that? You sure? Let's dial this back a little.
And they were talking Big Three or whatever. I'm like, I'm thinking that Big Hit's the big one. It's I don't know, they're Big Four or something.
They do an I. They do an I, you know?
They're a small company.
Kind of not so big right now.
Right. I think they might have kicked somebody out of the Big Three and replaced them, type thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Could be the case. So I
thought the small company. I'm not saying that they weren't a small company once upon a time.
But really, who wasn't a small company once upon a time? No
more.
I did find that album, knowing how young Tomorrow Together is, a couple of the songs on that album go a little more into the sort of the sexy vibe, the sexy R&B kind of vibe, and I found those songs a little harder to swallow. They were it wasn't sometimes they have a really sexy, they're young, but they have a sexy sound, and you're like, ooh, I should not be listening to this because I am too old for that. But it wasn't that. It was more of they didn't have the gravitas to or the life experience to pull it off, you could see
they
songs.
They had a real okay, yeah,
sure, kid.
If you say so.
They were good songs and they were sung well, but I felt from a group more senior, they would have had,
a little better.
That
but
reminds me of Wavy's Love Talk music video, the English version.
I have not watched or
I've seen
listened because all I see on Twitter is like people like, I don't think I'm old enough to listen.
Well, it was one thing when, like, you know, the Chinese version, I could already tell from, like, the English and the Chinese, inside of the Chinese song,
Mhm.
that it's like, oh, okay, like, okay, 10, like, that's a lot of, yeah.
This is 10
All
songs.
right, okay.
It's a lot of English in it, and you're like, oh, so just from those lines. And so then they do the English version, it's like, yeah, I kind of knew that.
You're
But
like,
even
oh,
visuals,
boy,
the
you
visuals,
get nasty, boy.
all of a
You
sudden,
get
none of them are wearing shirts. Like, there's some stuff going down in that music video, and it's like, and the thing is, they can pull it off, and it's like, okay, well, this has
You're
been
like,
fun.
sir, this is a Christian household. Put your shirts back on.
Right.
Nah,
It only shows their shoulders, but it's still like, boys.
You'd never hear me say that. Are you kidding me? I'd be like, no, this ain't. Please take some more off. No, I'm not that nasty.
Oh, Winner had their stuff. And, okay, mostly what I really like off the album are the solo songs. Like, I really like the solo songs, like Flamenco and Wind. Like, really, really like them. But I do find OMG is really cute. Like, it's really cute. Like, it's a cute song, but, like, it makes me giggle that they say, oh my gosh. Like, they actually say, oh my gosh is the OMG. And, like, every time they say gosh, I kind of giggle. I'm like, that's so cute. Like, that's just not cute. I like it. And some group called Argon, which I know, like, somebody's going to be listening and being like, what do you mean some group called Argon? But I never heard of them before. And then, yeah, they, Spotify gave them to me, and I was like, oh, this is exactly what I like. Thank you, Spotify. Like, sometimes Spotify is really off.
Thank you.
You're like, oh.
Yeah,
so
so I was
sweet.
like, yep, and I went and listened to, like, everything that they had, and I was like, oh, yeah, I like everything.
You're like, oh, how kind of you, Spotify, to deliver to me exactly what I was looking for.
To me, a new group you have delivered.
Because sometimes, let's be honest, Spotify has some trouble with the concept that there are multiple artists with the same name. So
Yeah.
I
a
do.
really nasty, explicit rapper with the name Astro.
Yep, get that all the time.
Spotify all the time, and I'm like, no, not that Astro. Stop. And there's also somebody with the name IU who does, like, musical collabs or something, but, like, it's like electronica without words, and I'm like, this is not also what I want to listen to. Like, no.
Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to find some, like, stuff by Gecko for my playlist for my Nano novel, and there's like a billion artists named Gecko, and he is not the first one that comes up.
You know, you have to, like, scroll through.
No, it was easier to just, like, search a dynamic duo, and then, like, comes up, like, also appears on, and you're like, that's who I want.
You
Thank
have to
you.
find someone's playlist.
Yeah.
Well, so I couldn't, I think it was today or yesterday, Don, whatever you want to call him, cannot find him for the life of me. I had to eventually go find the link somewhere, like, off of Spotify in order to have it kick me to the right place, because, yeah, try to type in money and Dawn, and yeah, you don't find anything.
Like nothing.
It's like, girl, you ain't finding shit.
Yeah.
Nice try.
They're like, you mean the group Dawn Money? It's like, no, I don't mean them.
No, I don't.
It's a rough life. And Cozy Pop had another whatever those kind of albums are called that they put out, full of different stuff, and again, as usual, lovely songs, nice to listen to, all enjoyable. Nobody new that, like, jumped out at me from it, but a lot of voices that I'd heard already that I enjoy, so that was good. And CIX. That's the other one that I've been listening to a lot. Is the Hello Chapter, Hello Stranger, or something. I don't know. Anyway, it's good. All the songs are good. Everything's good. I'm like, I was listening and I reached the end of the playlist, And then, Spotify like goes off and starts playing its own thing, and you're like, okay, yeah, no, yeah, no. And then like a song came on, I was like, yeah, that. And then I looked and it was like, oh, it's CIX. Okay. Yeah. I mostly listen to Jackson and CIX and then some more Jackson and then some more Jackson and then a little bit more Jackson.
I don't know, maybe Jackson? I don't know. Have you heard of this really below the scene, like underground singer known as Jackson? I actually conned my sisters into listening to him. I played the long con on them. I was like, yeah, you gotta check out this great song, like Bullet to the Heart, like it's so good. And they were like, oh my goodness, like he's so good, like who is he? I'm like, haha, psych, he's a K-pop singer. You part of GOT7. Y'all made fun of me for liking K-pop, and now y'all like a K-pop song, bitches. Oh yeah. Well, I wasn't like that vindictive. My sisters are very nice, but they don't understand my K-pop fascination. Though my sister's youngest, she's 5, loves Twice. Loves them. I was showing her like Twice music videos. She was like she was into it.
That would be a little
Yeah.
dream.
Okay. I'm like, ooh, if Twice ever comes on tour around us, I know what to take Ava to. That's for sure. What about you, Jesse?
A lot.
Too much.
Bring this up. Yeah, it was a hard month. Especially because I, listen to more than Korean stuff too.
Oh,
so
yeah.
So like
a lot of releases in Japan too. Like,
yeah. So there's this group, and I can never pronounce their name ever. It's Ling Toshita. You probably know who I'm talking about if you know them. They're a Japanese group. One of the guys from it does solo stuff and did stuff like with the group that does Yorushika, like one of my top Japanese groups. Or Yorushika's weird. I don't know if I can consider them a group, but whatever. Came out with like a collab, and it's really, really good. And it's called Melt. I'm trying to think of what else. I don't think, did we talk about Chen's album last month? I don't know, but it's really good. It's really nice.
So good.
I was playing it at work, and people were really loving it too. It was just like really nice background music. It's just like his vocals on it are so good.
Every time I play Chen, my husband goes, my God, he has such a beautiful voice. I'm like,
He's
I
so
know.
nice.
He's the voice of an angel.
Just like
down to
at
heaven.
peace with it. Like it's just.
I know.
I definitely like suggest listening to his stuff. And then Men Envy Children released some things. Bandmade released a single because they were on tour this like past month, and then they're going to be releasing a new album in December. So there was like a single that they played. That's really good. It's called Endless Story. Ladies Code came out. They did a comeback with like a mini album.
Yes, they did.
So good. Love it. Especially New Day. It's really good. I highly recommend the entire thing. If you like kind of like good upbeat R&B, like just like poppy stuff, you'll really like Ladies Code. I'm not gonna talk about everything that I listen to. But there is like one group that I have been listening to the most this entire month who had a comeback, even though they had a comeback like, 2 months ago, and that's Day 6.
Oh.
They are now my new favorite. I love them so much that I literally have them in my Twitter profile.
You know it's a big deal when they move up to your Twitter profile.
They just I've been into Day 6. Like they were a group that like I liked their music. I could have their music playing in the background. It was cool. It was like one of those things when they were gonna come back, you would watch the music video maybe within the like first couple days, but I was not like super into them. And then all of a sudden they were like, "Hi, Jesse," and I'm like, "Okay, I'm here." And now I'm like 100% into them. That's all I do is watch their videos and listen to their stuff. Entropy, their newest album, is fantastic. It is so good. I have it behind me on my shelf. It's so good. I've been listening to it nonstop at work. It is beautiful.
I had not listened to it until just yesterday or Monday or something, and the very first song on it has such an 80s hairband vibe. It's so good. I love that song. And then the whole album, it's all over the place. There's so many different styles on it. And
it's really
there
good.
is definitely something for everyone on that album.
Yeah. The title track, Sweet Chaos, is probably one of my favorite title tracks that they've done. And the music video is really great too for it. And I really like Day 6 now. So if you need to talk about Day 6 with anyone, I'm your girl, because I now know everything about them. Also, because I have to, Monsta X's album Follow is incredible.
So good.
They're my favorite album that they have. It's just extraordinary. It's just I don't understand how they're so good. And especially because most of it's produced by members of Monsta X, and they're just a really talented group. And You Are is kind of moving. Gravity's my favorite Monsta X song, but You Are is slowly gaining as one of my top favorite songs. It's a really good album, and I haven't been able to enjoy it as much as I should be, but I'm slowly getting back into it now, and it's just really good. And then also just because I have to, Brown Eyed Girls came back with a comeback, and I love it so much, because at first I didn't realize what type of comeback it was going to be, and then I heard something else, and I thought it was going to be just them redoing their old songs, which I was whatever, fine, maybe they'll finally have their catalog on Spotify because of it. No, this album is fully them covering old songs. So they're not their songs, they're just covering old popular songs, and it's so good. The entire album's great, and I highly recommend it. Some of them they are definitely better than the original, and they've got a lot of, they have some collabs on there too from some of the original singers too, and it's just, especially if you like older Korean music, which is not older, but not K-pop, but more just the general. I think you'll really like Brown Eyed Girls. They're just great all around too. So the good.
Music video was pretty darn cool.
I really like the music video, especially because they tied in with Gia's music video before for why can't I think of it at the top of my head? I've been playing it all month because it's a zombie song, and I have a Halloween mix that it's on there. But
classic capers.
I know it the music video ties in not in the zombie way, but her costume in that music video is exactly what they're doing in the music videos now. So
that's
was
cool.
A cool thing. Yeah, it was a hard month, and I know I'm missing some stuff, but yeah, Day 6 and Monsta X, Brown Eyed Girls, and Ladies Code are probably my top out of this month.
So I too had a bit of a hard October. I was sick for the entire month of October, but it was also my busiest work month. So I was dying of sickness, but also had to leave every weekend to go shoot 12-hour weddings. Do not recommend. Do not recommend, my friends. That's fine. I got my last wedding this weekend. I'll be done by the time this episode comes out for the year. So, huzzah! No one gets married in the winter in Canada. So, I haven't actually listened to that much K-pop this month. Well, okay. I did listen to some. Of course, I listened to the new Monsta X album. Mwah, perfection. My sweet babies. We gonna win it. We gonna win it, guys.
We are.
We're gonna win it. I have confidence.
I do.
Also, Super M. As dumb as Jopping is, that song fucking bangs, guys.
Oh no, Too Fast. I love Too Fast.
Oh, it's so good.
I Can't Stand the Rain's my favorite.
Oh, everything. It's it's a solid little mini album. I can't wait for the next one. But I have actually been listening to a lot of music, but I don't tend to listen to like K-pop when I'm editing or when I'm writing. So it's like I've been listening to a lot of like indie stuff. So I write a lot of fanual fiction.
Fanual?
Fanual, I'm making this up.
You're doing like annually. You're like,
no, I just do it all the time. So I write a lot of fan fiction of the gay variety, as is very popular among the ladies. Ironic, right? Like, isn't that like so weird? But anyway, I have a good time. So I have like playlists for all of my like fanfics. So I've been listening to. So right now I got one. If you were listening to our 1-year anniversary episode, we teased the possibility. This is me teasing the possibility of a fan fiction starring Jisoo, where he runs a love advice podcast. I've actually for Nano started writing that and made a playlist for it. There's some sick beats on this song on this playlist.
To clarify though, the fan fiction is a straight one, I think.
Yeah, it is.
I just don't want to read.
I already gave you the story.
It's a very K-drama like inspired.
I was just clarifying.
Yeah, like it doesn't really
Move along.
Doesn't
That's
really
all I'm
matter.
saying.
Yeah, it's great. It's a nice love.
I didn't want people
story.
holding
There's
their
like,
breaths for that. That
yeah,
topic.
no, like maybe next time. Maybe next time. Listen, there might be a Namju Hyuk Jisoo one shot in the future. Who knows?
There might already be like thousands of them with other writers. So
there actually aren't that many. I actually looked.
Wow.
Once upon a time. If you remember way back, like in like January, where we did an episode with Jisoo, and I was still doing like the fan corner, I struggled. There was the only one I found. He was like a serial killer in it. I was like, no, no, this is not what I'm looking for. Anyway, best hits off of the playlist. I'm sure that we will link to the playlist somewhere. Stars Are on Your Side by Ross Copperman. Mwah. Monster by Mark Diamond. We got some Taylor Swift on there, because why the fuck not? Clean Bandit. It starts with Epic High, so like we got some good shit on there too. I fucking love Epic High.
Yeah.
We got all Twin Forks. I mean, we got all sorts of stuff. We got some Eric Nam on there. We've got Elton John on there. Like you never know what you're gonna run into on a playlist that I make. So yeah, I've been listening to like a lot of indie stuff. Like just, and as always, like because I'm in like an indie mode, stuff like Car the Garden always comes up. Highs always comes up. A lot of Epic High. I've been really into them because they're just so good. Just, I don't even know what to say. They're just like really good. Young Bae. Anyway, I got all sorts of stuff. So that's basically me. And like, you know, Hyuna's new piece just came out, and I'm like a big old Hyuna fangirl. So Flower Shower was really nice. It was really nice. It
was a really nice video because she looked good. Like, she looked like she was having fun. Like, yeah.
Good. And, like, he looks good. Like, they both look good.
Did you see their interview together?
Yes!
Oh, my goodness.
Cute. I can't. And you know what? They look like they have the healthiest, happiest relationship. You know what? You can have a nice, healthy relationship when you don't have to keep it a secret and worry about losing your job for falling in love. Look how happy you can be.
Yeah.
And make music still and be a
professional. Thank you, Sai. Thank you. And they got their episode of Men on a Mission coming up together where she walks in and says, "I'm here with my boyfriend." Oh. No. Yes. Oh, my heart. I'm just so happy for them. Like,
I am too.
Yeah.
I just like can't wait till they get married and have beautiful, skinny little babies.
Super talented though.
Super talented little babies, just
singing right out of the womb.
Yeah, they'll be coming out just rapping from the.
Yeah, they're already writing songs right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, what about you, Sky?
Oh my gosh.
like
Her
the
face
chaos.
melts off.
Yeah, I made my face melt for all of you who didn't see that, which would be everyone that's listening to this. So, typically I try to keep up with dramas too, a handful. That's usually my thing as well, on top of K-pop. Oh, that has not happened. Because
Too much.
evidently too many favorites wanted to come back in October.
Too much.
And then, you find new favorites, and that becomes a whole thing, which is an issue unto itself. So, I'll hit on some of them that we haven't talked about mostly. One Us, which that was right before October, and I don't know if I mentioned
it. It was good.
So, yeah, their entire mini album was awesome, and Lit is just a really, really fun song. It's a very pretty music video. If people want to come fight me about how it's like BTS's Idol, that's fine. It's called just being inspired by Korean culture, but whatever.
What a shock! A group of Koreans using traditional Korean musical sounds as inspiration for the music. Curious.
Weird.
Curious is also a BTS copy, huh?
Right. So, I really recommend checking them out. They're really cool. I'm sure what's sad to see is like these newer groups that, they probably could have gotten their first win if it hadn't been so busy for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what's kind of cute is if you go check out some of these interviews and I'm not just saying One Us, but some of these other ones, they'll be, or even ATs, like I've seen some interviews from them, and they'd be asked, are you hoping for another win type thing? And they'd be really realistic. They'd be like, oh, no, there's way too many senior people. Like,
we're just like here for fun.
It's like, we just want people to know we're still around, we're still making music, we're still having a good time, don't worry about it. Like,
right. They were like, oh, no, they didn't say anyone in particular, but, it's like, yeah, Super Junior's over there. Like, stuff's going down. They know what's up. So, it's pretty cute. Ace, they came back. Ace has slowly become one of my ults.
So good. So good.
Now,
I'm sorry, their dancing is... I was actually literally making my husband watch their dance, dance version videos, because they're just... How does that little guy's spine bend like that, okay?
You're talking Undercover, I guess.
I am talking about Undercover, and we all know it. Oh boy.
And as a lot of these groups, Ace is hilarious. And what's interesting about Ace, just a little side note, when they were trainees, they were all trainees in different agencies. They were like the top trainee in all these different agencies, and they came together. And then they started busking together and stuff. And they kind of have been chasing their dreams since then.
Aww.
They started from nothing, and they went up against YG, the dude.
I remember that. Classic.
And YG's all like, you guys don't like sports, blah, blah, blah.
And they were like, so did Winner.
They're like, same thing, and he's just sitting there like, well, that's right. So, Ace is really cool. Check them out. Again, I don't think their fan base is large enough that they could have secured a first win necessarily if it had been less busy now, but they're definitely climbing the charts and stuff, and they did land on the social 50 for Billboard, and for them that's
pretty big.
Yeah.
Like last comeback for them, they didn't rank very high on any of that stuff. So they're slowly growing, and that's great. And especially given one of their 5 members had to be a part of one of those other groups for a while and come back type thing. So it's been a rough go. So they're doing a good job. It's awesome. And hey, Harley Quinn pigtails, cute. Victon! Speaking of groups that have members off doing other things like X1, Victon has not had a comeback in a year and a half. And so they are back with Nostalgia, and it's a really, really good album. I love the title song. I even do love Hands Up. However, this is why I can't read when people give me expectations of songs, I just shouldn't read them. Because they're like, oh, it's like Hands Up is it's like a Big Bang song. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I checked it out. It's a great song, but if they hadn't said that, which it's not, it's nothing like a Big Bang song. Like, I can kind of see maybe where they thought that, but it's like, you must not listen to much Big Bang, which is fine. Like, it's its own good. But I'm like, oh, so now I think that every time I listen to it. It's like, no! But they're doing great, and they're climbing the charts and stuff. They ranked on Melon for the first time, 51, and they're kind of losing their minds over that, so that's great.
Yay.
Wavy, Chinese unit of NCT, they came back, Take Over the Moon. Moonwalk is a pretty cute song. The visuals on the music video are really, really interesting, so it's pretty neat.
They done did them dirty on that animation a little, though.
I was okay with it. What did you not like?
Oh, I just didn't think it was very good, that's all. I liked it, but like, I was
not all that
like,
picky stuff.
could have done better. Could have done better.
To me, you had Tin flying in like anti-gravity stuff. Like, it was fine. Day 6, we already talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
Alexa, have you guys checked out Alexa?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So, I think she's American, Korean American, yes. And so she made her solo debut, and her music video is pretty darn cool. Check it out.
She was part of a reality show that Vicky did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
So,
mean
like,
to check that out sometime. You know, when
Start her as a K-pop trainee and
JRE
kind of like
helped do it.
yeah, and like Amber is part of it and too. So like if you really like Amber Liu from FX and Eric Nam has helped her, and I think Jay also from Day 6 did some things too. I haven't actually watched it, but yeah.
And she's pulling some really good numbers for her music video, so I think she's doing really, really well for just debuting. So that's great. Dawn, I really like his music video for Money. Like,
yeah.
And the lyrics for that song are very thought-provoking, and I really, 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 really like it. Yes. Winner, So. I love the music video. It's a piece of art. Everyone should check it out. Yes. And some of these, no, I have not checked out all of the albums because time.
Right?
Yeah.
In Flying, Yahoo, all of the songs on it. Love it. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
And then for Halloween, they dressed as characters from Pooh, Winnie the Pooh, which come to find out the paint that they used in their hair to make little ears and stuff like would not wash out, so they had to 7 times.
The clownery.
Yeah, so poor thing. ATs, of course.
Yeah, it was so good.
Oh, so good. I will say I haven't been listening to a lot of K-pop, but I've been listening to Wonderland. Don't even stop me. That song is a banger. And as I was telling you ladies, one of you anyway, I think I like it so much because it sounds like it's from like a modern musical, like a redo of Pirates of Penzance for the modern area. The modern era. That too. But yeah, it's toit.
Their Halloween stage
was so good. Oh
Okay.
my god, it was so good.
What was unique about that, for those who haven't seen it, and go check it out if you haven't, it's not that they just did face paint, which they did, but they reworked the song to have like music box
like
things going on.
They Halloweenified the song.
The song itself changed, and even the choreo changed too, like completely.
Wow.
So it was really neat. And there was a lot of acting. They're very good at facial expression acting. They always have been, and so they definitely played that up more. Oh, speaking of Halloween stages, because we must.
Yeah,
we must talk about the One Us cover of
Yes.
Heartbeat, because
Yes.
it was great.
Because they were zombies.
Yes, doing Heartbeat. It was awesome. And they didn't do all the tumbling, but they did a little, they did a good job. They did good. And I want to do a small side note. I'm kind of bummed, like when you have some favorite groups and you watch them come back and you see kids get hurt and you see it at the end. So like 2 kids from ATs, which one of them is pretty bad off, so he's still not promoting with them. But then one of the kids from One Us, he's not able to tour with them. And then I keep hearing about so many getting hurt, and I know it's a part of their profession. Like I get that, I understand. But at the same time, like when you kind of see it all happening at the same time, I guess because everyone had comebacks at the same time.
Yeah.
So it feels like it's worse. It makes you worry a little bit, but what can you do? Especially when it's obvious that they don't get rest. But the ATs had their anniversary, and they had a very, very emotional fan meeting that you could watch on Be Live. And they did sing a song of theirs for the first time there. They said they'll release it sometime. They don't know when. But, yeah, there's a lot of crying, especially from Mingy, who has not been able to promote with them. And he never cries. So, yeah. But I wanted to mention that song, which it had a number in it, but it was pretty much star, and it had numbers, and it was their date, 11, no, 10, whatever. So, it was all to the fans and stuff. It was pretty cute, but wanted to mention. So yes, there has been nothing but K-pop in my life, so that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
Except for, like, I'm watching one drama, but, like, pretty much everything else is K-pop.
Same.
Yeah.
I'm watching a couple dramas, but it's mostly, it's been a month.
It's
October was a month. I'm, like, ready for this to not be happening to me anymore. I'm just not made to be having this much stuff to do. It's like, I can't. I haven't like been able to paint anything in a while. My poor patrons over on Patreon, they're suffering. Though I did send them a pretty great phone wallpaper of Earth Puripat. So we love Earth. Oh, he's so cute. Ooh. You can tell how cute I think he is by what I'm doing with my puppet.
Yeah.
Now for the main event. Now that we've spent 45 minutes or so talking about. It took that long, like a good half an hour, just to get through everything that we're doing. We are going to talk about what I personally think is the best duo singing today, and that is AKMU. I'm making a bold statement about AKMU.
They're good.
They're very good. Both four fans don't come for us. They're all so good. We like them too. So.
We like them too. But, like,
I mean,
they're the best co-ed duo performing today.
Brother and sister too.
Thumbs up.
Yeah, brother and sister. Get real niche to be saying.
Real niche. So, okay. So, they consist of Lee Chan-hyuk and Lee Soo-hyun. They're brother and sister. They, lived in Mongolia in their teens because their parents were missionaries. That's kind of cool. And they then became act-on musician because they're just really good at music. And then they won K-pop Star too, which put them, unfortunately, into the clutches of YG. Despite this, they're still surviving. They put out some really beautiful shit. Just absolutely stunning and beautiful. Then Chan-hyuk had to go to the military, which I thought he was like pretty young to go to the military. I guess he wanted to get it.
He had to go. I think
he just wanted to get it over with. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
he's like 24, right?
Yeah.
24.
I actually just today rewatched their Men on a Mission Knowing Bros thing. So he talked about that. He wanted to get it over with because he had all this. He's a very poetic speaker when he's in a situation like that. He was very lyrical about pretty much saying, in order for a man to finally get to do what he wants to do, he has to do that first. And so he wanted to get it out of the way. So now he feels like he can do that.
Still in high school when he left. Like she's only like 20 now. So it kind of frees them up in a sense to like, okay, we're going to wait until you're like a grown up, and then now we can have a more grown up sound too. Like, I'm back from the military and you're actually an adult now. So if we sing about booze, it's fine. You know, like they just have a little bit more freedom, I think.
I think it also speaks to their like relationship that like he was also willing to do that to be mindful of her as well. 'Cause he knows that like, even, like, if she can do some solo stuff, she still is going to be very limited when he's gone, and that's a big chunk of time for him to be gone. So, like, doing it now and doing it, she's still young, they can focus on things later and it won't be such a burden.
And she did stuff while he was gone. Like, she made that TV show.
And she did as much as YG will let her.
Yeah, and as a female signed under YG, very little. But she did make Part-Time Idol, which is adorable. And it's on Netflix, I think. So if you haven't seen it, it's real cute. It's just a real cute little mini drama. Do recommend.
So another thing they actually mentioned was when he was in the military, he did write her a lot of songs where she could have had an entire solo album. Mm-hmm. But she wrote a very long email back to him saying that she wanted to grow as an artist and write her own music.
Yeah.
So that's why. And I thought that was, like, really sweet. And then also, I imagine they will, because the recording of this was the day after he got out. So literally, like, they're being very sweet to each other, which they're usually not very sweet to each other.
They're usually very sibling.
Yeah.
And they kept on commenting about that, like, wow, you guys are kind of different with how you're handling each other. Which I'm wondering if, like, by now that's kind of changed back. But they did say, like, their priorities with their relationship has changed a lot. So as far as, I do think they'll probably be savage and stuff, but because of that time apart, even though she would visit him a lot and their parents visited him and stuff, their relationship changed stuff.
It's gotta be hard because it's like they, like you grow up with your siblings, but like after a certain point they do go away, but like they were a duo writing music together and performing and doing all these stuff, so like they were brother and sister and part of a K-pop idol group, and then he's gone. Yeah. And not like living in the same place as her, like he's not in the room next door to her, and that's gotta like affect you somehow.
So a little freedom as the little sister to be like, ooh,
let's do some YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And by the way, they're the most adorable things on the face of the planet.
Oh, they're so cute.
Absolutely.
And early on, which it makes you wonder how young she was when she was actually having these conversations, but early on, plastic surgery is a big thing, for those that don't know, and it's very common, especially for YG female artists, to get that done from a young age to look a certain way. And I think she was possibly approached to do and she was like, no, I like the way I look. Like she wanted, and so she is seen as a unique looking person, but like I think she's adorable.
Yeah, she's very cute. I think
they've had that conversation before in interviews and stuff.
It's like, because there's such like a Eurocentric beauty standard in the entertainment world, they often get plastic surgery for people to look more Eurocentric, and less of the, like double eyelid surgery and stuff. And she said, no, this is what I look like. This is who I am. And she's very beautiful.
She's gorgeous.
Now, the Chan Hyuk, on the other hand,
he's adorable.
Hey,
he's adorable.
He had a bit of a military glow up. Like, he came back. He's pretty slick.
He's a very unusual looking idol singer. Let's just say that and move on. He's a very normal looking dude. We'll just, like,
but
he's not bad looking.
What
I'm saying
military
is
body.
He's not bad looking in any way. However, were you to like put him in a lineup of other idol singers, he would look not as good just because he doesn't do all of the, You know what? I'm just gonna shut up. I know you all know what I mean, and you're all looking at me like I'm a monster. But I know you all know what I mean. He's a very normal dude.
In Part-Time Idol, who did they have play her brother?
Playing the brother.
There's
I'm not saying that he's
that was actually something else they talked about on Knowing Bros. They were like, by the way, Chan Hyuk, you're super popular among the female idol groups. Like, they think they like really like you. And he looks so shocked. Like, he's
like, me?
Yeah, he was like, me? And they're like, yeah, because they're so used to, the highly polished, like, whatever, like, you look different. And
Fucking
Rosy. Oh, thanks.
you know how they are on that
It
show.
was Joel who said it, wasn't it? It's usually him saying.
I think it necessarily was. But I mean, also earlier in the show, Chae-hyuk was saying to her, like, yeah, there was one guy in the military with me who wasn't
the big guy.
But he said he didn't like pretty girls, and they even did the little, like, ... question mark, and she looked like, this isn't going well. And they have a little doggy, or they did once upon a time.
Mm-hmm.
They're just really good musicians. Like, I mean, like, honestly, she's one of the best singers, technically.
Yeah.
Like, music, technically. Like, in the industry right now. It's, like, astronomical, like, how good her voice is, especially when you hear some of their, like, first album stuff. She's just, like, she's very clear, and she's got a really great ear, so she's really good at harmonizing. And there's this really great thing with, like, siblings that can sing together. There's just, like, something that, like, biologically, like, the voices just match better, and having them both be so good at being musicians, it just, like, plays off of them. Like, their voices play off of each other so nicely. So, like, when you hear them, it's just such a nice sound and so talented. Like, you just want to hear more.
And most of the songs are so soothing, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you listen to them, you're just like,
They are.
They're just fun. Like, everything is good. Like, the way people move or
how people move,
like, I love that song. It's upbeat and fun, and then you've got the, like, the more mellow stuff, and you've got the cutesy stuff, and it's just all over, but it's, like, consistent still. Like, you always know when you're listening to AKMU. Like, they come on and you're like, oh, AKMU, there they are. Yeah. Like, it's good.
I do like the way that they've been able to change with this, like, newest album, because they just came back with a full album. And it's, like, got more of, like, kind of like an Irish, like, vibe to it. It's a lot slower and a lot calmer, and has that kind of, like, tone to it that it's not as kind of, not hyped, because not like, their songs aren't hyped songs, but, like, it's got, like, a kind of calmer thing, and it's just, like, it really speaks, like, just to, like, the growth of musicians and the growth of, like, them being so young and them still being young right now, but, like, the transition between that, like, since they're, like, the album before that, it's a really nice juxtaposition between the two albums to see that and to see how they're changing. And also, just, like, she's such a good singer, and she's been such a, like, consistently great singer that like, it's surprising to hear her be even more better. Like, it's just it's
like, how can you level up? And
how do you do that? And then she does it, and you're like, and then, I mean, they were able to put out that album, like, a month after he came back.
Yeah,
like, okay,
he pretty much came out with stuff in his back pocket.
Yeah.
Like, they were already talking
but
about
I mean,
it.
like, that, like, they just went into the recording studio and probably only spent, like, a day on each song, and they're like, done. Yeah. They're really popular in Korea. Just generally in, like, the population, because, like, if you compare, like, really, if comparatively, K-pop is actually not that big, like, comparatively to, like, the population. But they're a group that does really well, and, like, it's, like, shown because they do a lot of busking events, and sometimes when these, like, people, like, other singers and K-pop idols or whatever do these busking events, they're kind of like the normal, like, maybe, like, 100 people show up. They can have thousands of people show up. Like, they're very beloved in, like, kind of, like, just all around people really loving their work.
And the busking event they had when he got back, I think there were 30,000 people that showed up.
Yeah, Jesus.
It's just insane. I mean,
like
they deserve it.
Event.
His composing skills are just amazing. Like, he's always been a really good composer, but you can tell he grows. And I think even from early on, he wrote enough stuff, not even of their own, but, like, he's gotten a lot of royalties
Yeah.
from the beginning type thing. 'Cause they're just brilliant musicians, just in all aspects. To where on the show I was watching, Knowing Bros or whatever you call it,
Man on a mission, whatever.
Yeah,
wherever you are in.
they played the game, open a book, and sing.
Yes.
And
So
like,
good.
so they really, like, here's an insect guide, and they're just with his guitar, and I mean, it's beautiful, like, album worthy. And,
and everybody in the room are like, what?
Yeah, everyone's like, and then all of a sudden, the main guy, he goes, I think they wrote letters to each other, the cast.
Yeah, and she was like turning them into the most beautiful songs.
Yeah. So he grabbed one, and they were just turning into this, and he's like, oh, like, I mean, they were just all ascending, listening to these, like, bug songs or, like, silly letter songs.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they didn't really even have to think about it much. They just, like, they breathe and just create music, and it's flawless, and...
Yeah, it's magical to watch. Like, it's just, like, especially, like, growing up, having, like, studied music a lot, like, it's so great to see, like, people who are just so good at their craft and just producing such great stuff. And they're, like, hilarious together. They're so much fun. Like, if they go on variety shows, they're, like, knocking each other all the time. Like, you know, the host will ask him, like, oh, do you think that, you know, this idol would be good for your brother? And then she'd be like, no. And they're like, why? And she's like, it'd be bad for her. Just, like, roast each other nonstop. And they're always, like, they do fun stuff because, like, they go on, they've talked about it a lot, how, like, it's weird being idols, being brother and sister, because they're expected to do stuff that, like, you wouldn't do as sibling couples. Like, you wouldn't, like, do hearts together. Like, you just...
So they don't.
It's gross. Yeah, so they, like, purposely, like, turn or, like, opposite each other and, like, do a heart. And that's, like, their thing now. So, like, they don't have to make the complete heart. They're just, like, doing the heart to, like, some other person. They're a lot of fun. Because they're so young, too. It's, like, it's fun when you see them on the variety shows. Because, like, you know how they are as musicians. And then you see them on... the variety shows, and they're completely different, but they're so much fun.
There was kind of early on, I wish I knew how long into their career, but I'm not sure. It was a while ago. There was this show, it was like a variety show training camp, and all these different idols were on it. Inwoo was on it, and Chanhyuk, but both of the AKMU kids were on it. And they would get split up into teams and doing all this crazy weird stuff to try to get them pretty much kind of like an icebreaker to get them used to cameras, essentially. And there was this whole conversation that Chanhyuk had with Inwoo about, like, oh, Soohyun, like, she's really good friends with all of Astro, and I know none of you, and can we be friends? And Inwoo's like, I don't know her, you know, because he's always off doing something else. But, like, Soohyun would go, like, bowling with Rocky, so they kind of knew each other, and so it was like, I'll be your friend. Like, that was kind of cute. But they're, like, super awkward together throughout the entire show. They never really warmed up necessarily. Like, they were always nice, but you could tell that, like, he was just totally awkward. And they were just trying to make it, you know? It was funny. Since then, like, they're way, way better at variety now. But it was cute.
I really liked their episode of Weekly Idol when it was just the two of them. When, like, Connie was one of the hosts and stuff. Because they're so much fun, because, like, they don't do a lot for, like, dances, and, like, that's part of Weekly Idol. They do that dance part. So, like, for their part, they had them, like, they were making up stuff, and they were, like, it was, like, funny. He'd, like, pretend he was, like, strumming his guitar. She's, like, moving around with her mic. But then they switch it up, and they start playing, like, Big Bang, and they know all the choreo for every Big Bang song. Like, they just start doing it random, and, like, the hosts are freaking out, just like what? How do you know this? And
I was like, we got hobbies. What of it?
And they also played a game, those little bouncy balls that you yourself bounce on. So Soohyun went up against Heechul, and he was kind of behind, so he was just going to attack her, and she goes and she just whacks him onto the floor. It was awesome. And he stands up, he's like, hey, I'm 35! Like,
age doesn't matter when it's time for the game.
At the time, she was like 18, so she's like, ee!
Yeah, they're going to win, like, food, so they're like, yeah, I'm not even too hungry.
It's kind of sad, like, give idols food and they'll do anything, which, I mean, maybe that's a human thing.
That's a little
But so kind of sad.
disconcerting. Yeah.
I always just, like, in my head, I just think, okay, this is just the one thing that, like, idols carry as, like, their, like, fake thing, that they just, like, play up, that they're really excited to make it seem, make it fun and make it seem, like, very appreciative that they're getting something that they could easily pay for or something like that, you know? But
I always hope
that's in my head. That's how I, like, rationalize it. I'm like, no, they eat.
Yeah.
I love how creative they are outside of just the music. Like, their music videos are so good too. And I have to believe that they have something to do with that. Like, I know they're not probably start to finish creating the whole process, but the music videos seem to reflect the songs so well and reflect them also as people that it feels like they have something to do with that. But I mean, like, that was how I found them, was I saw the Revive music video, which is like a whole story within a story, and
it's like a drama.
Crazy. It is. It's a drama in 3 minutes. Like, and it's fantastic. Visually, it's stunning, and the song is amazing. And and I was like, okay, well, like, I need to have more of this now. And then you move into stuff like the combination of 200% and Give Love and you know, like, they have all these little things, and then they have that whole movie. Like, they did a mini movie of their last album, I think it was, like the Winter album, and and this video is great. Like, it's a little movie, and then about a singing duo who, you know, has a fight and breaks up and then goes their own way, and then power of family. Aww.
Yeah.
Like, but it's like, it's really cute. And then they, like, go off and, like, oh, I'm single now. What am I going to do? Oh, I need to, like, make money. I guess I'll sing in this bar or whatever. Like, so they sing songs. It's just a cute little musical run through the album, basically, and it's so good, and it's so interesting to see stuff like that come from when you're in K-pop and you're listening to K-pop and everything's so very stylized, and so it's still good, it's still all interesting, but they do just seem to stand out because it's different, like, because it just is a little bit different somehow. Like, even their most stylized stuff, it just feels a little bit different. And maybe that's partially because of it being co-ed. Like, you get a different vibe because you've got a guy and a girl instead of
co-ed and siblings.
Guys are all girls. And it's siblings, so it's not, you know, not sexual. Like, I feel like Card, in more recent releases, they've had to, like, they've moved more into these, like, shipping, like, couples and stuff that fans are into. But
sorry, I was just still thinking of that post that Big Matthew put out today with the new lyrics, and I'm dying.
Oh. Did he do it
like are those the real lyrics?
Yes,
real. Boy! There's called metaphor for a reason. Y'all don't need to come so hard for me here. Hey-yo!
He wrote the lyrics in English, and then, like, somebody's gonna, like, translate them into appropriate Korean. Like,
we feel sorry for whoever has to do that.
Whoever looks at this and goes, what the fuck is this? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. If you haven't looked it up, you should probably go check out his Instagram and see what shenanigans.
Or just skip it. Feel free.
Yeah.
Just feel free. It's nasty.
So it's probably gone by the time you're listening to this.
That's
anyway.
true.
Sure.
There were no metaphorical languages being used here, my dudes. He was straight up talking about doing it.
Know it when you hear it. Like, you'll be like, that's that song that they were talking about. That's the one.
Yeah, that was just straight up talking about unprotected sex. That's Boy.
Anyway, AKMU.
Boy, AKMU does none of that. AKMU is very wholesome. They're a very wholesome group.
And I guess what's kind of another really nice aspect of that is they're age appropriate for everybody. Like there's no holds barred whatsoever. Even the most recent album, yes, it's more mature, but not in that type of sense. Like, yeah, some of it is about breakups and whatever, but still, it's very appropriate for everybody.
They don't have like the same vibe as like an idol group, so I feel like they're not really sold as, you know, they're not marketed as sort of like, oh, you know, young, sexy, and available. No, like they're just,
they're marketed as Korea's siblings, right? Like they're not marketed to be your boyfriend or your girlfriend. They're marketed to be your siblings or your kids, depending on how old you are. Because
they do have to do the stuff that idols do, though, because they wouldn't be going on variety shows if that was the case. Like they would, like they are definitely like they have to do stuff that like a normal like indie band would be able to do. But like in terms of like another K-pop group, they're not that.
I also do know, because they've said this before, at least back in the day, the rules for YG definitely applied to her. She could not date, and he already had been on dates and stuff. So, yeah. Which, she was young. To be fair.
Yeah.
She was like, 17, probably in that moment.
I went on dates when I was 17, though. I'm just going to go out and say it that I think that this whole dating ban is just so stupid.
When it comes to minors, I almost understand.
Yeah, like I get it, but like, just in general, I'm like, they're human beings. They're not property. Like,
that's true. I mean, like, I understand it in a terms of like lessening, like, because I feel like trainees know a lot more about the company than like we like even like imagine, and I could see that like part of that is to stop someone from dating and like talking about what is going on in the company. Also, it's less about them dating and more about them focusing on what they have to do. Like it's like a deterrent from them to they have to be focusing on their like lessons.
Yeah,
and
but
I think that's
like,
but I don't think it's right.
Yeah,
but I
like
understand
there's time for both.
Where it's coming. Like it's not just because they don't want.
Well, like for the first one, it's like an NDA would cover that anyway. Man,
theoretically.
Like, let me tell you, there's some people out there these days who need a frickin' NDA. You know what I mean?
We won't go into that.
We're not gonna talk about that because we're just a positive, cheerful, good time podcast. Speaking of positive, cheerful, good times, did you know that you can actually help support this podcast continuing its efforts by going to ko-fi.com/certified newness and supporting us with a delightful monetary gift? And when you do, you get immediately put in to all the extra fun stuff that we put up on Coffee. We have like mini episodes, videos, we have all sorts of stuff on there. So that's ko-fi.com/certified newness, and you can find us there. And if you don't have the money, we understand. We too are of the impoverished variety, otherwise we wouldn't be asking for your support. But if there's someone out there that you think would like listening to this podcast, feel free to share it with them instead. Thank you. Now back to our regularly scheduled material. So if we're talking about their songs, who has a favorite? I know I have a favorite. I've had a favorite for years, and I've yet to be usurped.
I have technically two favorites.
Okay. Hit me.
So my first favorite is Dinosaur. And
it's a good song.
It's a good song, but also the meaning behind the song. Like once you know why they wrote that song and why it is the way it is, and like combine that with the story of the music video, it's just like on a whole nother level, because it is about them when they were younger having issues with like money and like, the bank repossessing stuff. And so like the whole video is children escaping really bad things, and by doing that there's like the dinosaur and stuff. So I think like that song, like just on so many levels, it speaks a lot, and it just like speaks a lot to like their just musicianship and like being able to write lyrics and like convey that in a song that like you're like, when you first hear it, especially if you don't like know Korean, you're like, oh, they're just saying dinosaur and it's like really cute, but like there's just a lot of meaning behind it. So I've always really liked that. And I really like really sad songs sometimes and really powerful songs. And Melting is by far the best song for that. I mean, it's like one of those songs. This is like, if you want to really just like belt out and just like, or put on your headphones and like crank up the volume and just like really feel like melancholy and just like really get into a song, Melting is that song. And it's so beautiful. It's like hauntingly beautiful. And it's just, even though it's like it's got, the depressing theme to it, it's still just one of those songs. It just kind of like, it's comforting in a way.
Mine has been Rebuy since the beginning. Like, all of their songs are beautiful, but there's just something about that song that just like vibes with me in a good way, because I sort of operate purely based on hocus pocus vibery in my life. So like that song, it has like the right vibe for me as a person, and her vocals in it are just oh shit.
And the music video is so good.
I know.
So
everything
good.
about it is good.
Well, I would say like my favorites are probably Rebuy and Dinosaur. I mean, Rebuy was my first AKMU, and it's stunning. And then Dinosaur is just fantastic. So, but also I really love How People Move. I really enjoy that one. So
that one's so cute. It's like just fun.
Yeah, and again, the video is fun to watch. It's bright and cheerful and poppy, and I really enjoy pretty much everything that they do. But I like the stuff that is upbeat. I like upbeat music. That's who I am.
So my pick was How People Move, but we already said that.
Okay, we can both like the same songs. Okay.
I also had Play Ugly. The way they do their giggling, like, is really interesting. Like, it's a very interesting song, and the music video is super cute with like kids' pictures, and it's great. But and their most recent album, just it's all of it is art. Like, it's just really, really good. I mean, I've ran across some people, and it's fine if you don't dig their vibe, because some people, I've ran across some people who love music and love K-pop who don't like AKMU, and that's fine. I do think that as time goes on, they'll probably have more of a variety, because like, when they were younger, they kind of had cutesy upbeat, and so maybe some people don't vibe with that. And so then now we'll probably see lots of different, because I think they definitely have the skill set to do anything. And so I think as time moves on, and as they do more albums, we will have a much greater variety, and I think there will probably be something for everybody.
I could see them having some like smoky piano jazz type stuff at some point. Her voice would be all right for that, I think. I think she could do that well. So I'd like to see it.
I'd like to see anything from. I really think.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. I could see them doing rock really well.
Oh yeah.
Some really good indie rock. I think it would be great.
Yeah.
That would melt my brain. Like.
Oh, it would. Yeah. It would be like, okay, we're here. Just maybe move them to my profile as well.
They could do like a whole album of collabs with like people from different genres, and just have like a whole album where they're like, yep, we can do that too. Oh, you thought we couldn't do that? Wrong. We can do that one too. Like,
we can do it all.
Everything. And I think from the military, he got an interest in opera. I know that he wrote a march for the Marines, and it has now become the official march of the Korean Marines. Like,
so cool.
Oh my gosh, like that's insanely awesome. But so I think he came out, he had an interest in opera, which he didn't have before, and she was like blown away, just like, who are you type thing. And he's over there like belting opera music, and she's just like, okay, like it's pretty funny. We love them.
We do, and if you haven't listened to them, you should
try them.
I think pretty much most of their stuff is out on Spotify. I'm sure it's on Apple Music. They got music videos. You can go. They're easy to find. They're great. AKMU, AKMU, we love them. You might like them too. They have beautiful voices. But now it's that time again.
Prepare thyselves.
Gird thy loins, listeners. Because you thought last month's comebacks were a bit much. Let me open Google Calendar.
Oh my gosh.
Oh boy. Okay. So
Yeah.
what has already come out? Okay. There was Jessie had a single with featuring Jay Park. It was okay. Hinapia, which I think is Priston, isn't it? Under
It's
a new
the
name.
group, yeah.
4 of the members of Priston.
Okay.
3 of the people changed their stage names. It's kind of confusing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
It's good though.
Yes.
It's a good song.
Yeah, it was very pretty. Just
Nam Woo-hyun from Infinite had a single on the Sunday. Okay, on Monday, 2 days ago from whence we were recording this, B.I.G. had a single. GOT7 had their comeback. Super M did a thing for Korea on Air, because
Yeah, with
why
Boa.
Boa.
yeah.
Up Tension.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Up Tension. Lee Jin-hyuk had a solo. Victim, that we already mentioned, finally came back. And then yesterday, as of today, which is Wednesday when we're recording this, BV ended. I assume it means bandit.
Bandit, yes.
Bandit. They're just bandit. Hyuna and Edon had their not it's they're I always love how they're like billed together now, but they were completely separate comebacks. But I just laughing because when they came back, I was just chatting with someone. I'm like, Cube is over there, like punching themselves in the face.
Yeah.
Because they missed out on a marketing gold mine.
Yep.
Ooh, okay, so today, this is a Wednesday, not the Monday. So on the 6th, one team, Amber, we love Amber.
That's tonight.
That's tomorrow. This is tonight.
The song release, the music video releases tonight. Anyway, by the time anyone's listening to this, it will exist.
It'll be out.
Time zones are weird.
Yes. Kim Dong-jun from ZEA has an EP coming out. Mellow Mant. Oh, I love Mellow Mant. They're coming back today.
It was cute. Their music video, it kind of had Christmassy vibes at the end.
Yeah, also because one of the members is enlisting. So it's the last hurrah before the enlistment.
I feel like it's just like they should just both go. Just both go and then just come back. There's a special version of Super Junior Time Slip. Why not? Like,
Sure.
the boys have a Japanese single, but it's not Japanese. It's Korean, but only released in Japan. Why not?
Okay.
Zion T.
Which is also a good song.
Yeah, it's a very good song.
Zion T is just great.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
On the 7th, we have a Noel single. Noel? It doesn't matter. On the 8th, we have Wassup Nari's solo debut. Why not? And Zico's coming back. Hey, yo, Zico. I really love Zico. Then we have a little bit of a break for the weekend.
Just a little.
But we probably don't. We probably don't.
I'll be
probably
filming. I'll be like filming a wedding, so like I won't have a break. But from comebacks, except an ultimate comeback, but not really a comeback in that sense. Yeah. Is Taeyang and Daesung are coming out of the military, and then let's just cross our fingers that their first thing they do is go just beat the shit out of all fuckface.
They're like, okay, we've got enough people now, we can go.
Yeah, now just all 4 of them just gang up on him and be like, you piece of shit. Moving on. On the 11th, iZone was supposed to have a comeback.
I know, I didn't,
but it's gotten moved because of the voting scandal situation. On the 12th, we have Nature, and 7 O'Clock has an EP. Okay. On the 13th, G-Friend has a Japanese album. We'll see how Japanese that Japanese album is.
Might be.
Lee Soo-hyun has a single coming out.
Probably.
Maybe. We'll see. And flying has a Japanese music video, maybe.
Well, they've actually already released the music videos.
Okay.
Yeah. So the music videos already exist. Go check them out. Doll and Kick-Ass. Kick-Ass is really upbeat. It's cool. Check it out.
I like their Japanese stuff. So
they started as Japanese, man. That's definitely their route.
And then Sheena Ringo has comeback coming on the 13th as well. We're only halfway through the month, my dears.
Woo!
So on the 14th, Eric Nam's coming back.
It's an English album.
What?
It's an English album.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, hello. Annyeonghaseyo. Hello. Sorry, I always have to pull out the Jackson meme whenever I can. Into It is having a comeback, and so is Mamamoo.
Which I'm super excited about because I love them.
On the 15th, there's going to be a Rainbow single.
It's for their, 10th anniversary or something like that.
And then
on the hard for it. Yeah.
On the 16th and 17th, they say nothing, but...
Well, they probably have something.
We'll be on alert. On the 18th, Golden Child and IU both have comebacks.
I'm also looking forward to IU's album. I'm sure it's going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
On the 19th, we have Six, or CIX, and Davichi and WJSN.
Mm-hmm.
All love Into It.
Yep.
On the 20th, A-Piece. Twice has a Japanese album.
And...
Yes!
And
Robin's coming back. Astro's coming back. Astro's coming back.
So far it's called Blue Flame, which is interesting, and it involves books somehow, and that's pretty.
Okay, we're here
my
for
favorite
it.
color is blue, and I have a book tattoo, and I'm just already melting.
This is gonna be Sky's month.
Right, and the guess is that they'll kind of be. We're guessing that's going to be a sexy thing. We'll just see. Because everyone's an adult now. We'll just see.
As the final announced comeback, the Kings of Concept are back. EXO's having a comeback! Hey, yo, but are they EXO or are they EXO clone? No. On the 27th.
Oh my god.
They ain't gonna play Astro that way. They ain't gonna play Astro that
nothing
way.
for a month between Astro and EXO. There's...
No, I'm sure. You just haven't announced it yet.
I mean, they added two things today,
at the same time, it's who wants to come back on the same day as EXO?
Not me.
No one. But wait, I'm sorry. I think you mean EXO because they're the EXO clones. They've been cloned. I don't know what's happening.
So the pirate flags in their symbol? Flags are pirate flags now.
Yeah, but apparently back in Lucky One, that was actually depicting them being captured and cloned, and it was the clones who escaped. And so since Lucky One, it's been all clones, except my theory, if we're going into this crazy EXO universe nonsense that I don't think any of us, even EXO themselves, fully understands the intricacies of this universe that they've crafted. Baekhyun isn't a clone, right? Because he's always the one on the outside who, knows things.
But then also Dio didn't glitch. I don't know.
But also, how does the singles play into it? Are they EXO when they're singles, or, so were they clones with their solo songs?
I don't know.
Maybe it's an extra clone. Maybe they just have a
military right now. Are they clones in the military?
That would be a pretty slick way to get out of your military service. Send your
You're just sitting at home, they're haha, my clone did it.
Suck it. No, I don't know how deep, into the subunits, this, I feel like the EXO universe only applies to EXO
as a whole.
I feel like when they're themselves, that's not part of the mythos that they've created in... Oh, God, I'm so confused.
The question also is, have clones infiltrated Super M? We have to ask that question.
Are all of the groups clones? At this point.
How far does the conspiracy go? How far does it go? No, but every time that I think I have a handle on the whole EXO backstory, suddenly a new piece of information is released, and I'm like, what the hell is that even?
clone thing, it's such a big piece of information. It's not like they just kind of tweaked something. Like, that's so cute.
No, and I actually went back and, like, watched the music videos, and I was like, holy shit, they were planning this bullshit this whole time. Like, there's all these, like, fucking illusions and stuff. I'm like, no! They played us! We done got played!
So
by
you guys are all saying that you stand clones this entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who did you really stand?
And are they of the Red Force? We must know.
Are they all clones?
Which is why I have
Someone
to know.
infiltrated.
Yeah. Why, no, it's like Beckyon really a clone because like he's always the one who's like, you know, not who's like apart from the rest of them. Like in the Power music video, he was like floating in the ocean while the rest of them are fighting, and then in, you know, bloop, bloop, bloop,
What
bloop.
is he in Super M then too?
It's exactly like, is he like a secret agent working against the Red Force? What is happening?
And then what is he on his solo album? Like, I need to know. Is he cloned multiple times? Is he the one who's like cloned like 14 times and everybody's only the one?
That would explain some things. I mean,
Like, that's how he
he has the time to do all this stuff.
Okay.
It's just, like, I tried to explain the Exo universe to my husband this past weekend, actually. It was on Sunday. It was because I was just in bed after dying at a wedding. And then I was, like, making him watch all the music videos and, like, explaining how they all, like, and he was just like, why, though?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows, but, like, this is the sort of thing that, like, any sane band would have abandoned. Like,
Like, too much work.
after like 3 music videos, they'd be like, nah, we're done this. But no, like, we thought they abandoned it, and then suddenly they're like, we're bringing it back. We were aliens, and then we were clones. But do the clones have magical powers? I don't know. They haven't been using their magical powers since, like, in Monster, was that them getting, like, captured? And
Oh my gosh.
And then in Lucky One, they're in, like, the... Oh, geez.
I didn't know that EXO was so complex. I mean,
No,
I did.
But like you didn't know it was this level because nobody else did because you just learned it.
Yeah, we accepted the whole, like, aliens powers thing and just, like, Coco Bopped our way through that and just...
Yeah, like, we were like, okay, and Coco Bob, like, they're sort of losing their powers, and you're like, okay, whatever. But was it even them? Was it because they were clones the whole time, so they're, like, their powers were really...
What the heck does tempo really mean with all the glitchiness and the bikes and, like, what is going on?
Because my theory... Okay, here, I'm going to go into my theory about tempo. Okay. My theory is that that's a computer simulation that they're playing on their subconscious minds of the real EXO to keep them occupied while their clones do other things.
So they don't wake up and know?
Because, yeah, so, but then at various points, there'll be, like, frosted glass with, like, hands, like, banging on it in the background, and that's their, like, conscious mind trying to, like, connect with them and tell them to wake up, but they can't because they're stuck inside of this computer. That's my theory. I could
So does this all explain Kai's duality by any chance?
Oh.
The fact that Kai is what he is on stage.
But also, do they, like,
going next
keep
level.
on switching them out? Like, you know, sometimes it's, like, the clone, and sometimes it's them. They're, like, releasing them.
I think that it's only the clones right now, because they're still trapped by the Red Force in...
And are they going to be trapped until all of them get out of the military? That's what we're really...
What if Super M is actually going to, like... save them or something? That's like the group. That's the superhero group.
So I
and like,
okay,
Beckyon is like the one who had got out. So he was able to get people.
Because like at the end of Tempo, Beckyon appears holding the Red Force cube, right? Which to me says he's not really. He hasn't been captured by the Red Force. Okay, so if he and then maybe he has recruited Clone Kai as a double agent. Guys, we figured it out.
We did it.
And then Wavy comes and does something too, because they're like in a spaceship, so you might as well.
They need numbers. They need like an army to get them, and then they're just gonna throw that, and then also NCT.
That's why we have so many members, because they just keep recruiting and they keep drafting in people to fight in the Exo Red Force war.
It explains so much.
It's figuring it out,
Maybe
lady!
next fiction.
We figured it out!
I think that we're all punchy from October.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, we broke the code!
I think she's crying.
Okay.
There will be more comebacks in November. I'm sure they just haven't been announced. Like Astros only got announced just a few days ago.
Yeah, I think I put something in that calendar like today, so it's iffy.
And AT's announced a world tour, my dudes!
Oh, yeah. Speaking
My
of
husband
tours.
said I could go. My husband said we could go. Yay!
But speaking of tours, since the next music episode will probably be like while I'm there after. This is my official announcement to anyone who is going to be in the Chicago area for either Jingle Bash or Dreamcatcher. I will be at both concerts. So if you want to come hang out with me, I will be there in Chicago, either at the concerts or probably during the days of that weekend. I will be there. So if you want to come hang out with me, send us a message on Twitter or certified.
That's Jessie, by the way.
Yeah, it's Jessie. It's
Yeah.
me. One in a K-drama. You can
Yeah.
also message me there. But yes, I would love to see people, especially if you're going to Dreamcatcher, because I don't know anybody who's going to Dreamcatcher. I do know several people going to Jingle Bash, so.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. So this has been another delightful episode of Certified Nunas. This is another K-pop episode. We talked about AKMU. We talked about all sorts of nonsense. We did all the stuff. You can listen to us wherever you're listening to us now, but if you want to mix it up, we're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on Google Play, we're on Apple iTunes, we're on Stitcher, and we're on Podbean.
And our website.
And we're on our website. You can just go to certifiednunas.com, do some quizzes, listen to some podcasts, have a good time, read some stuff. It's good times. It's good times.
Mm-hmm.
We got some merch. We got some new merch. We have a great Don't At Me tee because we often will say don't at me. Don't at me, okay? Yeah, so thank you for listening. If you want to support the podcast, you can go to ko-fi.com/certifiednunas to help us fund this podcast because we are not sponsored. If you would like to sponsor us and you're a company, please just email us at certifiednunas@gmail.com.
We will probably be interested.
Yeah, we have, like, if you're, a reputable organization, we'll work with you. We're easy. Anyway, we hope that you have a fantastic week and keep listening to K-pop. And if you haven't already, go check out AKMU because we all highly recommend them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, have a good one. Bye.
Bye.